Welcome back to her story Black History Month by Salty Vixen. This February, we are honoring the fierce, forgotten and fearless Black women who shaped history, one powerful voice at a time. Lugenia Burns Hope was born on February 19, 1871, in St. Louis, Missouri, the youngest of 7 children in a middle-class African-American family. Her father, Ferdinand Burns, was a skilled carpenter, but his sudden death in the early 1880s left the family in financial difficulty. Her mother, Louisa, moved them to Chicago, a city full of opportunity yet marked by deep racial and economic divides. As a teenager, Lugenia immersed herself in charitable work. She volunteered full-time with groups like the King's Daughters and, most significantly, Hull House, the pioneering settlement house founded by Jane Addams. At Hull House, she witnessed firsthand how organized community support could provide education, healthcare, cultural programs, and practical aid to those in need. Her Christian faith, nurtured at Grace Presbyterian Church, became the foundation of her lifelong service. She was elected the first Black secretary of the Christian Social Work Organization. Between 1890 and 1893, she studied at the Chicago Art Institute, the Chicago School of Design, and a business college, acquiring skills in art, design, and administration that she would later apply to teaching crafts, organizing programs, and documenting neighborhood conditions. In 1893, during the World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago, she met John Hope, a student at Brown University. Their meeting sparked a partnership rooted in shared dedication to education and racial advancement. In 1897, Lugenia married John Hope. They began their life together in Nashville, where John taught and Lugenia offered classes in crafts and physical education to local Black residents. In 1898, the couple moved to Atlanta when John joined the faculty of Atlanta Baptist College, which would later become Morehouse College. By 1906, John was appointed president of Morehouse, and Lugenia became known as the First Lady of the campus, a position she used to advocate for the broader Black community. Atlanta at the turn of the century was home to important Black educational institutions, Morehouse, Spelman, Atlanta University, but Black neighborhoods endured severe overcrowding, inadequate sanitation, limited health care, no public recreational spaces, and the constant threat of racial violence. The 1906 Atlanta race riot made the dangers painfully clear. Lugenia conducted surveys of Black neighborhoods with Morehouse students, mapping urgent needs in housing, schools, health, and recreation. In 1908, she gathered with 8 other committed Black women in Atlanta's West End and founded the Neighborhood Union, an organization dedicated to the improvement and uplift of their community. It became the first woman-led social welfare agency serving African Americans in the city. Under Lugenia's leadership as president until 1935, the Neighborhood Union divided Atlanta into zones. Volunteers went door-to-door to assess conditions and deliver services. Medical clinics and health education campaigns to combat diseases like tuberculosis, day nurseries and kindergartens for children of working mothers, recreational programs and arts activities for youth, employment bureaus and vocational training, clean-up initiatives against vice and unsanitary conditions, and persistent advocacy for better public schools and housing. The union's motto, "Thy neighbor as thyself," captured Lugenia's vision, community as family, guided by Christian ethics yet grounded in practical, self-reliant action. She rejected dependence on white philanthropy while simultaneously pressing city officials for equitable resources. Among the union's significant achievements were helping secure Atlanta's first public high school for Black students in 1924 and the city's first public housing project for African Americans. During World War I, Lugenia served as Special War Work Secretary for the YWCA's War Work Council. She organized support services for Black soldiers who were barred from mainstream USO facilities, coordinating a national network of hostess houses that provided recreation, counseling, and family assistance. After the war, she continued to challenge segregation within the YWCA, advocating for Black leadership in southern branches, and confronting white officials with the stark reality that ignorance existed everywhere. Yet ignorant white women enjoyed full American privileges, while Black women were denied them. Lugenia was active in the National Association of Colored Women's Clubs, supported women's suffrage, and collaborated with the Association of Southern Women for the prevention of lynching. She served on Herbert Hoover's Colored Advisory Commission following the 1927 Mississippi River flood, documenting and protesting discriminatory relief practices. In 1932, she became first vice president of the Atlanta NAACP chapter. There she developed citizenship schools, 6-week courses teaching voting rights, the U.S. Constitution, democracy, and civic responsibilities. These programs reached thousands and were replicated across the country, serving as important models for voter education efforts during the 1960s civil rights movement. After her husband John's death from pneumonia in 1936, and her own serious illness, Lugenia relocated temporarily. She worked briefly as an assistant to Mary McLeod Bethune in the National Youth Administration, then lived with family members in Chicago, Nashville, and Washington, D.C., while continuing her involvement with the NAACP. Lugenia Burns Hope died on August 14, 1947, in Nashville, Tennessee, at the age of 76. Her ashes were scattered from the tower of Morehouse College, a poignant symbol of her lifelong connection to education and community uplift. Her legacy endures. The neighborhood union demonstrated how grassroots organizing could empower communities and influence broader social change. Inducted into the Georgia Women of Achievement in 1996, her papers are preserved at the Atlanta University Center's Robert W. Woodruff Library. Lugenia Burns Hope showed that real progress begins when neighbors care for one another, build their own institutions, and demand justice without compromise. Her life remains a powerful reminder: love thy neighbor as thyself.